All right. We are going to be moving on. Now is definitely a spoiler. We're going to be talking about Mulan, the 2020 Disney live-action movie.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
You've heard of this. You've seen this, right? You know what that is.
It is unavoidable. It is your destiny.
Is this not why you are here?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Knock that shit off.
It is still the same story as the legend always has. A young Chinese girl disguises herself as a male warrior to keep her father safe and join the Imperial Army to protect China from the northern invaders. Now, this one, directed by Nikki Caro, writers Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver, who are husband and wife, and wrote the trilogy with the Planet of the Apes trilogy. And starring, all right, so I wrote these down so I could hopefully get these right and not kill people's names here. So, Liu Fei.
Wrong! I'm joking.
I'm like, what? Holy shit. Yeah. Liu Fei plays Mulan. Donnie Yen plays the general. Li Gong plays the witch. Jet Li, the emperor. Jason Scott Lee. I totally did not, like, I saw him.
I saw him.
Yeah.
He's very
I'm
obvious.
like,
He's the most obvious one.
How do I know that person? And
Right,
Jason,
I did the same thing. I saw that face and I was like, I know that guy. But
he looked
where?
great. Jason Scott Lee as Bori Khan. He looked awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yosan An as Hung Hae. I think I got that one way wrong. Sorry. Or the love interest, basically. And Sai Ma as the dad. And a lot of other great cast, but those were the big ones while I was watching.
Wait, you got Jet Li in there?
Yeah, Jet Li as the emperor.
Yeah, he's the one I didn't notice until you guys dropped it.
I was like, the voice, he sounds kind of forced. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's Jet Li forcing like a deep grumbly.
Yeah, I would have missed that if you guys didn't drop that hint.
So now this movie has gotten a lot of flack online, and I don't want to get into cultural, none of us are Chinese cultural experts by any means whatsoever. So we're not going to be stepping our feet into that. But there is discussion online about stuff the main actress said about Hong Kong, about, Chinese, the movie industry, and how whether or not they're catering too much or not enough or whatever to the Chinese market. So we're going to kind of skip that stuff. We acknowledge it exists. There's discussions to be had, but it's not really our discussion to have. We're really here to talk about the movie, the production itself, and what we thought of it. And so that's where we're going to start. Okay. So who here has seen the 98 animated movie? Okay, so a lot of the bitching online I've heard is basically about how they loved the 98, the animated movie, and it's not that. And I'm going to say the complete opposite, and that is the best Disney movies based on animated movies have been the ones that have ventured farther away than just being copies of their animated twins.
What's your example of that? I'm just curious.
Cinderella, number one, is the best of the changes. The Jungle Book, also pretty solid.
Okay.
You can talk about like, let's say the opposite of that, which is The Lion King, which is almost an exact replica with better CGI, and none of us really like it.
Although, so I will say Beauty and the Beast was like Lion King, but I thought Beauty and the Beast was pretty good.
Beauty and the Beast kind of did a couple of twists and turns because of the politics of Belle being, captured, and the way they handled the Beast a little bit. And I think it is a better than other ones. It's the same as Aladdin, but Aladdin, I think.
Oh, right. Forgot about Aladdin.
Oh, I forgot about Aladdin.
But those two aren't.
Everybody has, James. Everybody has.
Those two are not the Lion King in that they're not like almost a shot-for-shot replica. They are kind of this middle ground where it's still a musical and it's still a lot of the same stuff, but with a few different scenes, and the princess gets to do a bit more stuff, right? This is not the animated movie. There's no Mushu the Talking Dragon. There's no
Eddie Murphy.
There's no Eddie Murphy. There's nobody breaks into song and dance. And this caused some heat online. I don't know how much, because I don't know what Disney made off of this movie so far. But I will say I am so glad they did it. And I've been highest on the Disney remakes of anybody here, but I think this did itself a favor by not going near any of that stuff. What do you guys think? I'm gonna pass it on. Who gets the first shot?
So, are we talking? If we're talking comparisons, I haven't seen the animated one, so I can't really speak on it.
I think when we go through the review, I'll toss in some comparisons that I noticed, some obvious differences than it is. But let's talk about the movie itself. I think a general impression, and maybe point out something that you thought was good or bad that really stuck out to you.
Let me go to James. Everybody's playing shy. So I happened to catch the movie right after my wife and daughter caught it together, and they were like, "Ooh, Dad's not gonna like this part because of this message, just that." I was like, "Oh, they're already mischaracterizing me, misjudged stereotyping me, Dad." So I watched it, and in the first 30 minutes, I'm like, "Oh, this is good. This is some good stuff. I see what Chris is talking about, right?" And then I get into the moment where the battle starts, which I think is the third act, right? When she reveals herself to be a female warrior, and then she has to go to convince the troops.
She got to put her hair down and take off her armor for some reason.
Yeah, and then she has a conversation with the witch.
I have an explanation for that, so.
She has a conversation with the witch, and then she goes to the battle and brings Donnie Yen and troops, and then, saves Jet Li.
Yeah.
That whole third act to me, I was like, this is not exciting anymore. You guys were building me, and it just pooped the bed in that third act. So when I came out the room, and Kat was like, "Well, what do you think?" I was like, I think it's mediocre. I don't know, maybe B-, B. She goes, Serena and I gave it an A. I was like, wow. Like, is it a man-woman thing, or I don't get it?
No, it's a taste, no taste thing.
No.
Son of a gun. So I'm like, I definitely enjoyed the first half and 2/3 of the movie, and I like what they were doing with the movie, and I like how I forgot the actor who plays her dad, because he's been in a lot of movies since the 80s.
He is. I have it right here.
That's
Saima.
He acted the shit out of his role, and I felt it. Like,
oh yeah,
I felt it probably more than the animated version of seeing the dad. How stoic.
Oh, the dad wasn't very much. I mean, he was there in the animated,
but not like this.
He didn't project the way. Yeah, this definitely did.
The fighting choreography in the beginning during the training scenes was very good, and then just die when it came to the third act. Like 2 different stunt choreographers took over the movie. So I hated to give it a very negative grade, because I really enjoyed.
B is not a negative grade. I
wound up selling with a B. The animated movie. Honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of the animated movie either. I did like that musical song, "Be My Man." What that song is?
Make a Man Out of You.
Yeah, that one. I like that one musical part of the animated movie, but I wasn't a huge fan of the animated movie. So to me, I really enjoyed this because I saw something different, and I liked the first 2/3 of the movie. The third act dropped for me, but not enough for me to say this was a bad movie. That's my take.
All right, great. Mike or Keith?
I didn't see it.
You didn't watch it? So I thought overall it was a good movie. It's like I said, I hadn't seen the animated to compare. I understood. I knew what the story was about, right? Obviously,
it's the same.
Mulan, it's Mulan, right? So you know what the story's about. Over the years, people tell you, it's a movie about this and this. Oh, by the way, the witch. Did you recognize her? She was from Miami
Scorpion. She's also
remember,
Scorpion King.
Yeah, that's right. But I recognized her from the Michael Mann Miami Vice remake
Oh, I never saw that.
with Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, we just named two movies that were terrible. Her role was terrible. I'm sure
Yeah.
she had better roles, but
Oh,
you know,
yeah. I
she
don't
was
know, but that's all
she
I
was the hot
remember from her.
princess that The Rock had to save, and she
Mhm.
was the female interest in a terrible Miami Vice remake.
Right. Um, yeah, I thought it started okay as well. I didn't like. I don't know. Compared to the animated, like there was a whole big thing about chi in this movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where if that comes into play in the
I don't
animated.
remember that in the animated.
No, there's
So it was almost like they were making her like a Jedi.
all right.
know?
So one big
That's
difference
what Eric
between
said. So Eric and I watched it together, and he
All
was
right.
saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So one big difference between the animated and the live action. In the animated, she's kind of a clumsy. She's not a practiced warrior. She's just a clumsy girl who through pluck and through trying her hardest does all of this stuff.
Right. But the same thing is she volunteered. She volunteered as tribute to.
Yeah. It's still
right?
it's the exact same setup, but it's through sheer determination.
Mhm.
Whereas she is accessing a power that in this, the way they are explained it in this movie, is women aren't supposed to do it. Only warriors and only men are warriors. So this is something it seems her father has taught her, and she has
Chris.
learned to use.
I don't think that's 100% accurate, Chris, because the witch had mentioned something different. Because
right.
she clearly uses powers. She's not a warrior. She's a sorceress, which no man.
That's the witch is built as this worst case scenario. Like women are called witches if they use this power. Men are called warriors. You see the separation. So she's a witch because she can access that same power that men use to use and be warriors. Women aren't allowed to, and so they're cast out. She was cast out of her village, and she continued to use her power and basically becomes a witch, whereas the guys running up the side of the walls using the same exact powers, but they're called warriors.
So she used her power. She could transform to an animal and a bird.
I mean, all right. So there's a word I learned because I was trying to figure out. We've all seen this type of action movie when we've watched a little bit in like the Ip Man series and going exponential in other movies. And that's this thing called wuxia or wuxia movies, where it's kind of a magical kung fu from China.
You just cursed us in Mandarin.
Probably. So it's a whole genre in Chinese kung fu movies where, so the part in Ip Man where he's able to dance on a spinning table while doing his kung fu.
The biggest example is that Crouching Tiger.
And Crouching Tiger is the most American version.
Right. Yeah, but there's like the Run Shaw brothers in the 80s and 70s. Those type of kung fu flicks that we called quote unquote chop suey. That's what the Americans called it.
Yeah,
that's what that's based from.
But this is like the Monkey King is. They're all like this. They're all almost practically superpowers. Yeah. They're all force users because they can access and use chi. It's just an internal power. So the way they explain it in this movie, and it's life force. And you see this in anime and all sorts of stuff. It's a life force. And accessing and being able to use that life force gives you basically superpowers. And so in this movie, women aren't allowed to use it or show that they have access to it because only warriors are allowed to.
Yeah, the reason why I disagree with you, Chris, because no one else was shown to use any of those powers but Mulan and the witch.
No, the Emperor. The Emperor did.
Oh, and Jet Li, my bad. And the Emperor, the one male who's the supreme male.
No, the whole invading army. Okay, so one of my favorite shots in this thing is the invading army comes up, one of the first invading, and they jump on the wall and they run straight up the wall, and the camera twists with them.
You're right.
Yeah. That's them using the chi power.
That was a good shot. Yeah, that was a good shot. I forgot about that one.
So all of that, everything where they duck backwards and they're just miss and they're catching arrows, that's all of the same powers.
Gotcha. I got you. You're right.
Now there was a lot of discussion about, oh, they said women don't have chi in this movie. That's not what they said. Pay attention to what people are saying. They basically said women aren't allowed to use it because it's only for warriors. And so when she uses it in the camp, the first time she shows off, remember she does that staff battle, and she basically shows it off. And they're all like, "Oh, that's awesome! Why didn't you tell us you had it?" No.
Yeah.
Whereas when she was a girl, and she was chasing that chicken, the first thing they showed you, her chasing the chicken, going up, jumping on the roof, and all of that stuff, and then she got yelled at and told she isn't supposed to use it. So you see this dichotomy of they think she's a boy, so all of a sudden this power is fine, but before when they knew she was a girl, it's not fine.
I like that kind of a callback at the end when she was chasing the witch as a bird too.
Yeah.
On the rooftop.
To me, it just made it seem like Mulan was just like a special force, lack of a better word, force user.
She's supposed to be.
It's not just that she's accessing chi like a boy, but she's accessing to a 10th degree.
She's supposed to be. So she is not just a normal. She's been training since a child with her dad.
Yeah,
these other guys.
The fact that she's a girl is irrelevant to the fact that she can access her chi to that level.
But that's the problem. Is the whole movie is about it's only irrelevant because she's a girl. Otherwise, she would be praised. She would be a commander in the army.
Gotcha.
All these things, but she's not allowed to be. That's the whole point.
I gotcha.
So here's my initial thoughts on that. If we want to compare it to the animated storyline, is when I first heard about this movie and they said no songs, no talking dragons, I was like, okay, cool, straight up action movie, right? But then she's a force user, and we've got magical phoenixes following her, and we've got witches who turn into birds. At this point, bring the talking dragon. What are you holding back? Because you basically taken. Yeah, you basically said, "Oh, we're not going to do that. We're going to make it like a normal movie." But then, what did this normal movie turn into?
They never said they were making it a normal movie. They were making it something more akin to a Chinese action movie rather than an American comedy movie. So if you stick a talking dragon in there with Eddie Murphy's voice, you have an American comedy, versus what we saw, which I enjoyed because I like those movies. I enjoy, watching, people. Shaolin Soccer is one of my favorite movies to watch.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And that's got the old grandma and old grandpa, and they do this force wind thing through a bell and blow the doors off of an entire building. It's all superpowered stuff, and it's fun.
They still had the right amount of dosage of comedy too. Like that whole group of the
love
B
those
team,
guys.
the B squad that was with her. Those guys are pretty funny in their own right.
I think so, but personally, I would have preferred a straight up. She's a girl. She's not supposed to be in the army. She's in disguise. She trains her ass off. She proves she's just as good, if not better.
Well, then go watch the animated movie.
No, I know, but I would have preferred like that without the songs and without the talking dragon.
Eddie Murphy.
You know what I mean?
Well,
I haven't seen the animated movie, so I can't really say.
You might like that more.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I think it's definitely a taste thing.
Keith, did you see the animated movie?
No.
Oh man.
I think it's a taste thing. I don't think they. The first thing I texted you guys when I turned it on was, it's a beautiful shot. The movie looks gorgeous. The colors, the cinematography is amazing.
Yep.
Okay. And you come in and this girl's chasing the chicken and they're telling her, stop that. You don't have to do that. And then she starts the superpower stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap. This is not what I expected. And I'm having so much fun with this. And I think at that moment, if you're willing to go away from, well, she just has to be a girl who goes into the army and fights. But no, she's a girl who goes in the army and saves the entire empire of China by killing the baddest bad guy in the entire.
Right. You could have still kept that part. There's no reason to do that, not to do that, right?
So I think adding a little bit of fun to the battling and adding that magical element. It's not the magical element changes the story whether it works or doesn't work. It's just it allows you bigger bigger elements, bigger battles. You know, I wasn't sure. Everybody's like, I mean, Mike, you're saying you could use like a Braveheart version of Mulan.
Yeah, I think that's
too
more my
real.
style. Yeah.
Yeah, I
No.
think that could be a thing. Like, I maybe go look at the 20 other Mulan movies that are out there.
Yeah.
It may be one of them out there.
Yeah, my family told me there's like a bunch of these things out there.
But I think for me, the way they went was a nice surprise for me.
The only thing, going to Mike's point, is with introduction of this chi and magic stuff. I think if you're gonna do that, then the power scaling has to be right, because it seems like at some points she's like super powered, and at other points she's gonna fall down a cliff, or like the witch is so powerful, but then yet she gets a measly arrow through her back in bird form, and she's down for the count. Like,
Yeah, the whole witch thing. So one of the main thematic differences between the animated and the live action is the animated seems to be more American in an empowerment. This girl comes from nothing and she can do whatever by determination and power. It doesn't matter that you're a girl. You can just do whatever you want, right? She does all the same stuff, but she does it through will. This one, they really push the family and being true to yourself harder than the empowerment section.
yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
So her whole shedding of the armor, letting her hair down, coming into battle with the flowing robes and long hair was all about her revealing herself and being true to herself, and her power level rose as soon as she was true to who she really is.
Yeah, they threw that message at us when she had the sword with the Chinese character that kept saying true and
Right. Over and over and over
And
again.
over
True,
again,
true,
yeah.
true.
True,
And
true.
That's the Eat, Pray, Love sword, right?
right. And so
Pray loves.
and so the witch is just the person who's like, I see you who you are. I see that you're
just
being
like me.
fake. You're just like me. We are
Join
the same.
me, and together we shall
We
rule
rule the
the
empire
Right.
as mother and daughter.
And
Your mother
her
never told you I am your mother.
and so the question is, so you could ask the question. So she shed her armor when the witch threw the dagger at her. Was the witch trying to kill her, or was the witch helping her reveal herself?
I think helping her to rise like the phoenix.
Right. And then she convinces the witch, hey, you've been abused, you've been mistreated, but I've been the same, but I'm going to react differently. So this is how Anakin reacted to his family being in danger. This is how Luke reacted to his family in danger. You see the two different characters having similar arcs and how they react differently.
Always goes back to Star Wars.
Well, Star Wars is basically, I mean, we all know Lucas loved the samurai flicks, and he loved basic hero journey stuff. So that's really all this is. It's that journey, but you know, they're all eventually everybody respected her because she protected her family and protected China, whereas maybe in the animated one it was protecting her family but also proving a more empowerment point.
Yes.
So, you know, as far as what I was able to read is that Disney, the directors and writers, went to China, mainland China, and talked to people there about what they would expect to see in this kind of movie, as opposed to the Chinese American, you know, kind of input. And that's, like I said, I don't want to touch on it. It's just something I was reading about, and it's interesting, you know, the different viewpoints you might see.
Yeah, I like to actually know what some actual Chinese citizens, what their opinions are, versus Chinese Americans, what their opinions are on the movie.
But what I've been reading that I haven't read actual like reviews or whatever, but it's been getting some blowback.
Yeah,
Yeah, it has.
Mm.
I mean, it's got positive reviews, but it's also got some controversial reviews.
Yeah. So I think IMDb's score is pretty low right now. 5.6. Yeah.
Yeah, before it ever came out, immediately as soon as they announced no songs and no Mushu, it got a lot of hate, and which is obnoxious. We all
But
know.
not for me. That's what excited me about it, right? So.
And then now there's this, hiccup. So there's this thing online. America movie reviewers tend to use the Chinese market as an epitaph when they're talking about what's they were just chasing the Chinese market. That's the only reason they made this movie. We've heard that.
Yeah.
So in this case, when you're making a story about a character from that place, I don't think it's a horrible idea to go there and kind of chase that market in a sense. It's a different view. Now, did they do a successful job? I guess that's all art is up in the air. So maybe it is a 5 point whatever on the credits.
Yeah, what was the issue? One of the issues I heard, because it was a bunch of white writers.
So the two writers are two husband and wife, white people, and so is the director. Whereas in the animated one, you had a white guy director, but you had, I believe, a Chinese American writer. Okay. So, but you have this has an entirely Chinese cast, 100 top to bottom. They didn't, a lot of the blowback, they said they were going to put a white guy in there to be a love interest or something. That didn't happen.
That would have been bad.
But that was all.
I liked the chemistry between the two of them. That was fine.
I didn't think there was real chemistry between the two of them.
I thought
He seemed too old for her. He seemed too old for her.
There was an interesting scene here and there, but I think the same happens with all of these Disney animated ones where people are so invested in the previous version that they think because Disney's making it that either A, they're going to kill it, or B, if it's not exactly what they want, it's the worst thing on the planet. They're not reviewing the movie. They're reviewing their politics. They're reviewing their feeling compared to the last movie. They're reviewing a lot of stuff surrounding the movie and not just the movie.
That's true. Yep.
So,
great point.
I give the movie an A. I think it's beautiful. I think it's well acted. I love the type of action. I think the story is solid. I don't think it hit all cylinders. It's not an A+, but I enjoyed it top to bottom. My family enjoyed it top to bottom, so I'm going to give it an A.
Okay.
Mike?
B- for me. I'm going to watch it again. I want to, I did pay attention, but I kind of just watched to watch, right? So, I want to pay more attention to the details. B- for me. Acting was decent. Love the cinematography. Love the costume design. Score was pretty good.
Those are going to be up for Oscars.
Yeah. So there was a lot of good points to this movie, and like I said, the only thing that took me away was some of the stuff with the Phoenix and all that stuff, but it wasn't terrible, right?
Yeah, I think that's all just kind of imagery to reinforce background themes more than anything.
Yeah, it was almost kind of like somebody from art film school or something. It was, let me throw this in here. People will love it, So.
Well, do you remember the whole conversation in the beginning with her dad where she broke the wing off the statue?
Right.
And he's like, you know what the Phoenix is? The Phoenix is the protector. And so the Phoenix is like that family crest, that Mushu character, but without all the jokes and all this stuff. It's somewhat a guide and telling her she's going in the right way.
Mike doesn't care. He has no sense of wow.
It's sense of wonder. No
Keith
sense of wonder.
Keith and I, we talked about it on another podcast when we watched the Raised by Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
Both amazed by it.
Yet. Is it good?
But then Mike's seen it. Mike goes, meh. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about Raised by Wolves next week. But
that's the same reaction he had to that. And I'm just like, dude, even I would, I was taken by some of the cinematography and some of the.
Raised by Wolves is beautiful.
Yeah, this guy, Mike, is like, eh.
I'd love to see this Mulan in 4K. I'm sad I missed it in the theater.
You know why I'm mad? Because I'm waiting for Tom Cruise to film a movie in space, and then I'll go, wow.
But see, now you're looking for something outside of the movie to wow you. The idea that he's in space is wowing you, not the movie.
I know. I don't care.
That's
I think
honest. That's fair.
Yeah, movie news has gotten to the point where people have opinions before shit comes out now, and I think it's heavily affecting. Like, just today, we got some Dune pics and a pre-trailer trailer to the Dune trailer.
It's like getting free samples of a free sample at Costco, right?
Right. Yeah, here's a crumb of the bread
Trailer
you can have.
foreplay.
And it annoys the shit out of me. I don't want anything to do with a pre-trailer. Either release the trailer so I can see what I might be into, or don't release the trailer.
But it's you nerds, yo. You nerds are the
It's
reason
not
why
me.
they do
It's
that.
not all of us.
That's why, like, you guys are so thirsty. Like, they know that they can get your viewership. Like, oh, this is the first trailer, and this is the second trailer. This is and like,
That's
and they know
true.
you nerds are gonna
And
eat
they'll
it
break-
up and spin it out into the universe and do their marketing for them. That's why they do it.
No, you're right. You're right. Absolutely. They're gonna break down. There's
I
gonna
do
be
it
trailer.
too.
There's gonna be trailer breakdowns, frame by frame breakdowns.
Yeah, they can't just break.
Speculation.
Looks like such and such is going to be in this film, and yeah, it's like
Yeah, I'm gonna admit I did that for the Force Awakens trailer, frame by frame breakdown.
like when have they been doing? When has that ever happened? But now, like
I mean, I see
multiple trailers for movies.
I see guys doing breakdowns of their BVS movie frame by frame still, and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
there's a cult following for Doom, and these guys are out there in the forefront analyzing this and putting YouTube
Yeah,
reactions.
so I saw Dune again a couple months ago, and I watched it again and I wasn't that impressed.
I haven't seen it in this millennium. I have not seen it.
No.
Since,
I don't think I ever watched it all the way through. I think I got bored.
Yeah, it's not my kind of.
I even had the book.
I
Somewhere.
love Doom.
I mean, I'll wait. I'll wait for Beetlejuice to summon the worm or something like that.
I also love Beetlejuice.
Or
Please don't remake that.
what's this?
Oh, definitely does not need to be remade.
Oh.
Definitely doesn't need.
What's the song that goes? You have to walk with rhythm, or you'll attract the worm, or walk without rhythm.
I don't know what
And-
country song you listen to.
No. It's Oh, never mind.
Keith
Oh.
Urban?
Oh gosh,
Obi
Doom's
Key.
greatest hits.
no. Do you guys ever seen the Christopher Walken music video where he dances through the hotel?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I never listened to the
Rhythm.
words.
Rhythm.
There's words to that. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know
there's
his words to it.
You've never seen the video and
I've
listened
seen
to
the
the
video.
actual song?
No, I'm not
You've
listening to the
never
actual
listened to
song.
the actual song?
What
I
song?
will later.
Now I gotta look it up.
I will later.
Something to do with rhythm.
I felt like it was an SNL parody or something.
No,
years
it's an
ago.
actual music video for an actual thing. We're going to pause here. Mike is going to place that video in a box that's going to play. See, it's the magic of editing, Mike.
Oh, you're talking about Praise You?
No. Oh, gosh. Now I'm going to have to look it up because
I'm telling you, I think it was an SNL parody that he
it
did
is not.
in the 90s.
It was a parody. I remember
Yeah.
a video, like a music video, and seeing Christopher Walken like do his
Weapon of
little-
Choice. It's called
his little
Weapon of
dance.
Choice by Fatboy Slim.
Ah.
Yeah,
Okay.
this. Yeah.
I felt like I'd never listened to the words. I just the beat.
Really?
and watch them.
Ever listen to the words?
Okay, well,
I didn't even realize there were words in that song.
one of the
Yeah, it's just news to me.
Right.
one of the lyrics is "Walk without rhythm, and you won't attract the worm," which is I believe it's a Dune reference. Because aren't the worms attracted to walking through the desert?
Something like that.
Oh, come on, nerds! You guys should know.
Yeah,
Not
they'll
that-
let us
not
know
that
in the
nerd.
comment section.
Wrong nerd. You're more elf nerd, right? Elves and dwarves nerd.
Elves and dwarves. Black elves lives matter.
They're not black elves, dark
The
elves.
dark elves. I always read it the other way when I was reading it.
I think most people do.
Come on, R.A. Salvatore. Say what you mean.
I'm glad he didn't go there, though. I'm hoping that wasn't what he meant.
No, that's not what he meant. A race of evil elves who happen to be black. No.
No, that's all right. So that's our review of Mulan.
Yeah,
I gave it a B. You gave it an A. You gave it a B minus, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good range.
That's a good range, yeah.
I think if you like that kind of action, I think
we're
definitely
gonna
see
beat
it.
this Mulan thing into the ground, huh?
We talked just as long about three episodes of The
out,
Voice.
like nobody has anything to say, but they're still like, you're so Mulan and great. And like, okay, like it's obviously done.
Wait. One last.
Nobody has anything else to say about Mulan, but you're still on Mulan. I don't understand.
Well,
Here's one last thing. Here's one last thing, because Serena and I, although she was still in punishment, she did make one comment to me because I was arguing with Eric. I was like, "How does anyone not realize that she's a girl?" And Serena says, "Yeah, that was bad casting because she clearly looks like a female. Her angular face, everything about her was screaming female. Yet everyone believed that she was a boy." This is my 17-year-old daughter saying this.
Yeah, my family said that too. My answer to this was a call to any male of age. So think of boys, 15, 16-year-olds, before they really hit. They can have feminine qualities.
All right, we'll leave it at that.